When you wish upon a star, your hot takes come true. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and welcome back to another video. So today I'm reacting to your Disney movie hot takes. Wish just recently hit theaters, and it's a film that commemorates the 100-year anniversary of Disney existing, and so I thought it'd be the perfect time to sit down and react to some Disney hot takes. But before I do, be sure to hit that like button, drop your Disney movie hot takes in the comments down below, subscribe and hit that notification bell to help reach my goal of 100,000 subscribers here on the channel. I mean, a lot of them trying to make that final push near the end of the year. And go show some love to the Unusual Couple podcast for weekly podcast episodes with myself and my girlfriend Cam. We have tons of fun with it over there. So I sifted through over 200 hot takes that you guys submitted and picked about 20 of the best ones to react to. And these are all specifically Walt Disney animated films, not Pixar films. The first one comes from my buddy Jacob at Starcourt Food Court. He says, Lilo and Stitch is the most underrated Disney animated movie. For me, it's up there with the other top tier Disney films. So I'm currently working my way through the Disney journey. You guys should follow me on Letterboxd at Filmstocked if you're not. I am in the early 2000s right now. I'm approaching, the Tangled era, but regardless, I rewatched this one. I honestly marked it as a first time watch actually because I barely remembered anything. And I thought it was a cute movie. I didn't love it like I wanted to. It's definitely in the solid tier for Disney, but it's not upper echelon for me. So I'm gonna have to disagree with it being among the other top tier Disney films. Still dig Lilo and Stitch. Stitch is obviously so adorable, and the family messages are strong. No denying that. I just think that I don't have the nostalgia for this movie as much as a lot of other people do, and so it's not top tier Disney for me, but it's definitely solid. Bolt is an incredibly underrated Disney movie. The theme of love between an owner and their pet is so overlooked, as this is perhaps the most common thing between pet owners, and it's so nice. You can read the rest if you want to, but I feel what you're saying there. The thing I remember about Bolt is it was a sweet movie. I haven't seen it in over 10 years. I'll be rewatching it soon. It's actually coming up in my Disney journey. Again, follow me on Letterboxd to see my quick thoughts on it. I got this movie on DVD in like an Easter basket one year. Very random memory, I know. But I watched it that day for the first time, and I was like, this is actually really solid. I don't think I watched it since then, so it's been maybe 13-ish years. I have no clue. This movie came out in 2008, so it's been well over 10 years since I've seen it. Interested to see how it holds up for me, but John Travolta and Miley Cyrus are on that voice cast. Very interesting lineup. Definitely a bit of an outlier Disney movie, so saying it's incredibly underrated, I mean, fair. Not a lot of people talk about it. This next one says, Great Mouse Detective is one of the greatest animated movies, and Ratigan is a top-tier Disney villain. I wouldn't say it's one of the greatest animated movies, but I was pleasantly surprised. This is one of those movies on my journey where I'm like, I never watched this one growing up, and I actually enjoyed myself with it. It's sort of a Sherlock Holmes story with a mouse detective. Ratigan is the Shakespearean over-the-top villain who you love to root against, and he's just despicable. He's that classic Disney villain, and it works. So after a slow start, I ended up enjoying this movie, and again, I'll talk a lot more about these. I'm going to do a huge ranking of all 62 Walt Disney Animation Studios films when I finish my journey, so that's coming in the next week or so, probably. But Great Mouse Detective is underrated. I wouldn't say it's one of the greatest animated movies, though, and I wouldn't put Ratigan in the top 10 Disney villains, but he's maybe on the outside looking in. So I can see where you're coming from. This next one says, Frozen and Frozen 2 are incredible films. Both are top 10 Disney for me. Wow. I'm not going to disrespect the OG Frozen. I have a lot of respect for that movie, especially its cultural impact, musically speaking. I mean, the Let It Go song has been playing nonstop since the movie came out, and I think it's a really good movie. It's got an effective twist, all that jazz, right? But I don't like Frozen 2, so to say that's top 10, that's outrageous to me. Frozen 2, I fell asleep almost in the theater. I was so just disconnected with the movie. Not a fan, so I'll be rewatching that soon, and we'll see if I have any, updated thoughts. I haven't seen it since theaters, but was never crazy about Frozen 2. I think it's a huge drop in quality compared to the first Frozen. This next one, though, says, Hercules is the best Disney Renaissance movie. From the music numbers to the best villain in Disney, it's just perfect. I mean, it's a great film. It's a great film. I can't say it's the best of the Renaissance when you've got movies like The Lion King, Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast that are also in the Renaissance era, but I can say it is an elite Disney movie. And you'll have to see where it lands in my placement, but I'm not gonna get too mad about this because it comes down to personal preference at the end of the day, but it's a top-tier Disney movie. The Renaissance era is just loaded with MVP all-star films for Disney. It's not in the top 3 Renaissance for me, but that doesn't mean it's not 4 or 5, if that makes sense. So I love it. Hercules is a great hero you love to root for. Go the Distance is a banger. I'll See You Out. It's not the best Disney Renaissance movie, but it's up there. Big Hero 6 is underrated. It deserved the best animated feature win at the 2015 Oscars. I don't see a lot of people talk about Big Hero 6 nowadays. I've seen the movie once. I thought it was really, really well done. I think the reason is it's sort of a superhero movie, and so for some reason I think there's a disconnect with it being a Disney animated film. It more so just feels like an animated superhero film from its own independent studio, when at the end of the day it's actually a Disney movie. But it did give us Baymax, who's like the lovable icon from that movie, so I do think it's a little underrated. I don't see a lot of people talk about it as much. It kind of fell under the radar during that time period. We were getting, Tangled, Frozen, Wreck-It Ralph, Princess and the Frog, and then obviously Zootopia came out, Moana came out. It kind of fell under the radar a bit, but it's an underrated movie for sure. This next one says Chicken Little is actually pretty good because it is funnier than most modern Disney films and references iconic movies without it feeling forced. So fun fact about Chicken Little, I remember seeing this movie in theaters. It's one of the first movies I have a memory of seeing in theaters back in 2005 in a small southern city in Georgia, and the floor was just weirdly sticky, like someone had spilt soda and there was popcorn all over the floor. But I remember watching the movie and I don't remember much of it. It's actually next in line on my Disney journey, so you have to follow me on Letterboxd to see what my updated thoughts are nearly 20 years later, but we'll see. I've heard people say it's one of the worst Disney films. I remember it being alright. It can't be worse than Home on the Range. Tarzan is the best Disney movie made, from the beautiful scenery to the score and the incredible soundtrack featuring Phil Collins. It's not the best Disney movie, but it is a great movie. And this recent rewatch was the first time I'd seen it since childhood, and man, that Phil Collins soundtrack goes incredibly hard. Strangers Like Me is the one I just can't stop listening to. It's been on a loop in my car since I watched this one for the first time in, I'd say, 20 years. So it might surprise you guys. Its placement on my list, on my ranking, it could surprise. Wreck-It Ralph is probably the best Disney movie since the 90s. I love Wreck-It Ralph, but you gotta factor in something like Tangled or Moana or Frozen. I don't know if I can say it's the best since the 90s, but it's a damn good movie. Sword in the Stone is top 10 Disney movies for me. I don't get why people don't like it. It's super fun and charming, and I love Merlin and Archimedes. Hot take incoming, Sword in the Stone is a snoozer. It's very drawn out for no reason, and the characters aren't particularly likable. I have a lot of thoughts that I will say. I've already spewed them on Letterboxd, and again, I will repeat these thoughts when we get to my Disney ranking when the time comes, but I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but it's definitely nowhere near the top 10. Dinosaurs, one of the most beautiful Disney films ever, even if the film itself isn't so good. So I'm going to take that and say, you're saying the visuals are beautiful, because I don't think the movie's that good. It's a fine movie at best, and that's being nice to it. The visuals are more disturbing than anything to me. It's this weird computer animation that doesn't feel fully rendered. And so there will be lemurs on screen. It's very bizarre, and it will feel strange, like something you're not supposed to be looking at. It's very weird. It kind of grossed me out watching it. The dinosaurs look a little wonky. I never got the hype train for the visuals in this film. It has its distinct style and it commits to it, but it honestly feels incomplete visually. And I know it was a long time ago, 2000 I want to say, so it's acceptable, I guess, that the visuals are a little off nowadays, but I was not on board with the visual style. A lot of the creatures in this film just looked really weird. It was a bizarre stylistic choice in my mind. Hey from Brazil, well hello there. I think that Beauty and the Beast live action remake is better than the original. I could see where you're coming from, but at the same time, this rewatch of the OG made me realize I gotta pay respect where it's due. But then I go back and I say, that remake has Evermore, which is a fantastic addition. That's the Beast song, and it just gives me chills. The Josh Groban rendition, if you guys haven't heard it, chills every time. But I would say that the live action remake of Beauty and the Beast is one of the better, one of the stronger, perfectly cast, and I think Luke Evans as Gaston is better than the animated Gaston. So yeah, I really like the live action remake, but on this rewatch of the OG, it solidified it as a 5 out of 5 type of movie for me. It's really high on my overall ranking, and it was nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars, so the first ever animated film to do that. Very impressive feat for the OG Beauty and the Beast, but both the original and live action remake bangers in my mind. This next one says Meet the Robinsons is top 10 Disney for me. Haven't seen this one in ages. I'll be rewatching it soon. It's I think 2 or 3 movies coming up in my rewatch, so again, Letterboxd, I'll keep plugging it all video. This next one says Tangled is their best movie since their Disney Renaissance. Fact. Pinocchio is a top 3 Disney movie. I can't say that, but if we were going off solely being iconic, there's a more of an argument there. Pinocchio's silhouette, the nose extending when he lies, that has become just so iconic in pop culture. Also, When You Wish Upon a Star originated in this film, and that has basically become Disney's song over the years. So Pinocchio, you could argue top 3 most iconic Disney movie, top 3 best? No, I can't do that. Still really solid though, and Jiminy Cricket's the man. This next one I take issue with. The Lion King is a good movie, but that's it. Only good, not amazing, and certainly not the best Disney movie, not even close. Blasphemy! No. If you can tell by the background, I'm a fan of this movie. It's my favorite animated film ever, and to me, it's the best crafted animated film I've ever laid eyes on. It's an achievement for Disney. The Hans Zimmer score is emotionally moving. The actual soundtrack, outstanding. Multiple original songs were nominated for Best Original Song at the Oscars this year. It's a beautiful story, and the journey that Simba goes on is perfection. I think this movie nails it across the board. I could rewatch it right now. I could rewatch it after that. It's the best Disney film to me, so I'm strongly gonna have to disagree with this. I never understood childhood when people are like anti The Lion King. Everyone's allowed to have their own opinion, but this movie is an achievement in filmmaking, especially for Disney. Frozen is the most overrated animated movie ever made. False. I don't think Frozen is the best Disney film, and I definitely think that some of the songs became overplayed and it became popular hate on this movie, but if you go back and rewatch it, it's actually a really good movie. I can't say it's the most overrated animated movie ever made. I can't stand Hercules. Bless my soul, Hercules on a roll. That's just disrespectful. To each their own, but Hercules rules. Emperor's New Groove is the best Disney movie. It's not the best, but I was so surprised when I rewatched it and found myself thoroughly enjoying it. I hadn't seen it since childhood, and man was the movie funny. It got a lot of laughs out of me, and it's surprisingly heartwarming. So Emperor's New Groove, kind of a banger, honestly. Ralph Breaks the Internet is the worst Disney movie. I mean, I won't argue with you. I think there are some that are clearly worse, but Ralph Breaks the Internet was painful to sit through, and when compared to the first, it's a huge drop in quality. This movie's disgraceful when compared to the first, actually. Illumination makes better animated movies than Disney. Absolutely incorrect, in my opinion. What has Illumination put out recently? The Super Mario Bros. Movie? We're talking about that movie that was just fan service for Nintendo for however long it was, or the 40 Minions and Despicable Me films they've put out. Secret Life of Pets. Like, on what world, on what planet is Illumination even comparable to Disney? It's actually insane to say this. This next one is clearly rage bait. The Lion King live action remake is better than the original. No. Not remotely possible. In any galaxy, any universe, no. Basically a beat for beat remake with lifeless CGI animals. The music is watered down. Everything about it is a lifeless, shallow, hollow version of the original beloved film. And this last one says, I actually like Home on the Range. I think it's overhated. I'm not going to tell you where Home on the Range lands in my Disney journey. You're just going to have to see when I drop the ranking video. But Home on the Range is what I like to call cruel and unusual punishment. Enduring this film was torture. And that's all I have to say about that right now. So that does it for reacting to your Disney movie hot takes. Stay tuned for my ranking of every Walt Disney Animation Studios film coming soon-ish. By the end of the year for sure, hopefully in the next week or two when I finish off this Disney journey. But let me know your Disney hot takes in the comments down below, and be sure to hit that like button, subscribe and hit that notification bell to help reach my goal of 100,000 subscribers here on the channel. It would mean a lot as I'm trying to make that final push. Go show some love to the Unusual Couple podcast. It would mean more than you know. And stay tuned for more content coming very soon. But that's going to do it. Thank you guys as always, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.